Welcome to Kids Academy.
Hello boys and girls, it's Teacher Mike here again, and today we're going to be looking at a worksheet called verb or noun. Let's remind ourselves the difference between a noun and a verb before we get started. A noun is a person, place, or thing. A person, like Mike, a place, like New York, a thing, like this table, or an animal, like a tiger. A verb is an action word. It shows what the noun does. For instance, eating, drinking, snoring. Verbs always describe what the noun does or did. Let's read the directions for this worksheet and get started. Read the sentences below. Tick the square next to the letter V if the underlined word is a verb. Tick the square next to the letter N if the underlined word is a noun. Let's read each sentence carefully, and then we'll decide what the underlined word is. The first sentence reads, monkeys eat bananas. The underlined word is eat. Now, is eat a person, place, thing, or animal? Or is it something someone does, an action, like a verb? Monkeys eat bananas. Yeah, eat is a verb. It shows what the noun monkeys did. Eat is a verb, and monkeys is the noun in this sentence. The second question. The pig played in the mud. The underlined word is played. Is played a noun, a person, place, and thing, or a verb, something somebody does? Well, played is a verb. It's something somebody does. Now, who played in this sentence? Who is the noun? In this sentence, the noun is the pig. The pig played. Played shows what the pig did. So the word played is a verb. Let's check next to the letter V. The third sentence reads, on my birthday, I like to eat strawberry muffins. Okay, muffins. Is muffins a person, place, or thing? Or is it an action, something somebody did? Well, it says eat strawberry muffins here. Now remember, eat is something you do, that's a verb. Strawberry muffins, well, muffins is a thing, that's something you eat. So if muffins is a thing, that must mean it's a noun. The fourth sentence reads, I'm going to read a book. The underlined word is book. In this sentence, read is the verb, it's what you're doing, it's the action. And in this sentence, book is the noun, it is the thing you are reading. Book is a thing, which means it's a noun. Our fifth sentence reads, Jenny always has dessert after dinner. Now this sentence is a little tricky. What is our verb? What is Jenny doing? She had dessert. She has dessert. That's our verb. Dessert is the noun. That is what she has. It's the thing which she has. Remember, if it's a thing, it's always going to be a noun. And in this case, dessert is a thing, so of course, it's a noun. Our sixth sentence reads, this is my favorite pink dress. Dress is the underlined word. Is dress a person, place, or thing? Or is it an action word, like something somebody does? Well, dress is a thing. It's something somebody wears. So dress is a noun. And our last sentence, ostriches can't fly. The underlined word is fly. Well, is fly a person, place, or thing? Or is fly an action, something somebody does? Fly is an action word. It shows what the ostriches can or can't do. So fly is an action word, which means it's a verb. Remember, boys and girls, when you're trying to decide if a word is a noun Ask yourself, is it a person, place, or thing? And if you're trying to decide if it's a verb, ask yourself, is this something I can do? Like running, playing, eating, reading? Thanks for watching, boys and girls. See you next time.
Hello. Today we have a worksheet that is about diphthongs, and they are the diphthongs oi, oi, and oi, oy. So a diphthong is a vowel sound that is made by combining two vowels. So the two vowels are oi, and on the other one it is oy. So we're going to combine those together to make the oi sound. So the directions say the name of each picture out loud and then check oi, oi, or oy, oi to complete the words below. So we're going to look at the picture and we're going to try to decide, are we going to use oi or oy? Now, normally the rule as to whether or not we use oi or oy is that if the oi sound is at the beginning or middle of the word, we're going to use oi. And if the oi sound is at the end of the word, we're going to use oy. That's generally the rule that we're going to follow. So let's take a look at the picture here. This is a picture of a boy. So where do you hear the oi sound in the word boy? B-oi. B-oi. Is it at the beginning, middle, or end? B-oi. It's at the end. So right here, we are going to check our oi sound, okay? And then the next one is a picture, and it looks like a little kid's toy. It's a t-oi. Is it the beginning, middle, or end of the word? T-oi. It's at the end of the word. So normally we're going to check oy for the end of the word, okay? The next one is a coin, and we can kind of see here where it goes in the word. It looks like it's going to be in the middle, but I want you to listen to the word too. Where do you hear the oi sound? K-oi-n. K-oi-n. It's at the middle, so it's going to be oi this time, okay? The next one is a picture. It looks like a teapot, but on the inside we can see that there's little bubbles and there's steam coming out. So when water turns into steam, we have to boil it in order for it to turn to steam. So the word is boil. Where do we hear that oi sound? Is it the beginning, middle, or end? Oil. It's at the middle, so we're going to check oi, because remember, the rule usually is that if it's oi at the beginning or middle, it's going to be oi. Okay, the next one is something we use when we are cooking, and this one is a picture of oil. So let's listen. Where do we hear it? Oil. Oil. It's at the beginning of the word. So once again, we're going to use oi. Okay? This one here took me a minute to figure it out, but there's a little girl and she's jumping, and look at her face. She looks really happy. What's another word for happy? Well, it says it starts with a J, so joy. Joy, that's the word that we're trying to figure out today. So joy is at the beginning, middle, or end of the word. It's at the end of the word, so we're going to do oy. Okay? Now this next word is kind of tricky, okay? This one does not follow the rule. Sometimes there are words in our language that don't always follow the rules, and this is one of the ones that breaks the rules. This word right here is oyster. An oyster is an animal, or it's something that sometimes people eat. So what we're going to do is we're going to figure out where it goes, but it doesn't follow the rule, so it's actually going to be the opposite of what we would think. So this one right here is at the beginning of the word oyster. So normally we would think it's an OI, but it doesn't follow the rule. So this one I'm just going to kind of give to you. This one is O-Y, oyster, O-Y-S-T-E-R. That's just a different word. And then the last one does follow the rule. The last one looks like a little plant, and it's growing out of some dirt. And another word for dirt is soil, soil. So where do we hear that oi sound? S, oil, oil. It's at the middle and it does follow the rule, so it's going to be O-I. Okay, great job. I know sometimes that's tricky when not all of our words follow the rules of the English language, but you did a great job today. All right, so let's compare comparative and superlative adjectives. A comparative adjective is used for comparing two people or things, and a superlative adjective is used for comparing one person or thing with a group or other people or things. And we've got an example here. There's 3 dogs. The first one is just talking about one dog. If you were just to be talking about the dog, you could use the adjective big. He is a big dog. Comparative adjectives, remember, means that you're comparing two things. So between the 2 dogs, he is the bigger dog. And then a superlative adjective is comparing a group, one thing against the group. So this dog is the biggest, okay? The directions say, read the sentence below. Choose the adjective. It correctly completes each sentence. So number 1 says, we were blank because our school team won. So before we actually decide which one is best, happy or happiest or happy, we need to figure out, is it just talking about one thing? Is it talking about 2 things? Or is it talking about a group? Now I notice here that this says school team. A team is more than 2 people or more than 2 individuals. So that would be comparing against a group. So we were blank because our school team won. We would use happiest. We were happiest because our school team won. Okay. Number 2 says, Mom's strawberry cake is the blank I've ever tasted. Tastiest, tasty, or tastier. So are we just talking about one cake? Are we talking about 2 cakes, or are we talking about mini cakes? Most likely you've tried mini cakes in your lifetime. So we're going to use the EST ending. So Mom's strawberry cake is the tastiest I've ever had. Okay, number 3 is summer is blank than winter. It looks like we're comparing 2 things, summer versus winter. So we're going to use the ER adjective ending. Okay, so summer is warmer than winter. Summer is warmer than winter. The last one is the kids teased the dog and it got. Well, it sounds like we're just talking about one dog here. There are kids, but that's not what we're talking about. We're referring back to the dog. So since the kids teased the dog, it got angry. Okay? That would be how we would do that one because we're just talking about one thing. All right? Nice job. Bye. All right, so we have the worksheet, build a sentence. We're going to get to put sentences together. The directions say, draw a line through the circles to rearrange the jumbled words and make a complete sentence in each section. Start at the red circle. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the first section here, and we've got several words. We've got the and kitten and milk and drinks. So it was a sentence, but the words are all scrambled up, so we have to figure out in what order they're going to go. And the way that we know is we have to start first with a noun, a person, place, or thing, and then it does something, which is the verb or the action that it does. So we're supposed to start on the word the milk or the kitten. Which do you think it's going to be? Well, I'm not sure. Let's try one. The kitten drinks milk. Does that make sense? The kitten drinks milk. Yeah, that makes sense. Now, it could have also been the milk, which is a noun, which is a person, place, or thing, but the milk drinks kitten. That doesn't make any sense. You can't drink a kitten. So the correct order is the kitten drinks milk. So we're going to take our pencil and we're going to draw our line in that order. The kitten drinks milk. And we've got our little picture clue to help us figure out what we're talking about. So let's look at that first in the next one. Here's our picture clue. It looks like a little girl and she has a bike there with her. Okay, so let's find out which way we go. We're going to start with I because that's the red circle. So it says, I have bike a. Well, that doesn't make any sense. So let's look at it again. I have a bike. That makes sense. I have a bike. I is the noun, okay? And they have or they own a bike, okay? All right, so the next one in our section, we're going to start on the red circle, the. And the rest of the words are dog, home, and runs. Now, I know I can't start with runs. The runs won't make sense, so I have to start with either the dog or the home. Let's start with home. The home runs dog. Well, can a home run? No, it can't run, and it can't run dog. So I'm sure that's not the right order. Let's try it again. That didn't make sense. The dog runs home. Does that make sense? Yep, we've got a little puppy dog here, and it looks like he's running home. So here we go. The dog runs home. Great job on forming your sentences today. See you next time. Bye-bye. All right, so we have adjective hunt Halloween maze. This looks like fun. Adjectives are descriptive words, and I love adjectives because they're the juicy stuff. They're the stuff that describes a person, place, or thing. Let's look at the directions here. The first one says, help the ghost reach the spooky house. So we've got our ghost right here, and we're going to try to help him reach this house down here. And it says, draw a line to lead him through all the descriptive words. So we're going to start right here with our ghost, and we're going to go through this kind of little maze. What is our first word? Our first word is gloomy. Think about gloomy when things are kind of sad or down or sometimes dark. They're gloomy. Now we're going to go to the next one. The next one is old. Is old a descriptive word? Yep, it describes something, okay? The old person or the old shoe. All right, let's look for the next one. Now, which way do we go here? Do we go to witch, like a witch, evil witch, or do we go to quiet? Think about which would describe something. Maybe the quiet cemetery. That describes something. So we're going to go on to this one, quiet. And then the next one is wet, maybe a wet field or a wet sock. Okay, and then we're going to go down here. Now we can go one of two ways. We can either go this way or we can go this way. This one is bat. Is bat a descriptive word? Nope, bat is a noun. It is a person, place, or thing. So we're going to go on to the next one. The next one is nasty. Ooh, look at that nasty piece of broccoli. Ooh, nasty. Okay, go on to the next one. Let's go around the corner here. And we can either go to fly or black. Let's think about that. A fly, like a little bug that's flying around, or black. Which one is a descriptive word? Black. Black is a color. A color describes the way something looks. The black witch's hat with the black boots. Okay, now we're going to go around here. And now we can either go back to fly, which we already said that wasn't one. So we're going to go on this way. We're going to go this way to cold. The cold hand. Ooh. Okay. And then, I could have gone down this way. I forgot this one here. This one is skull, but skull is a thing, a skull. So we're going the right way. We're going to go down here, and then we can either go to dark or catch. Think about that one. Which is the word that describes something? If you were going down a hallway, a dark hallway, that would describe the hallway. Or catch, to catch a bug. Nope, that's an action, so that one's not the right one. We need descriptive words. We're going to dark right over here. And then from here, I can either go to skull, or I could go to hunt, or I could go to small. Which one do you think it is? Skull? Skull is a thing, so that one won't work. Small, the small kitty cat, or hunt. I'm gonna hunt for the mouse. Well, that's not a descriptive word. That's an action. So we need to go over to small. Here we go. And then we're going to go around the corner and back down, and then we run into a choice. We've got glow or pale. And I'll think about that one. Those both kind of sound like descriptive words, but let's think about it. If something glows, it is doing something. So that's not a word that describes it. But pale, the pale ghost or the pale person, we're going to go down to pale right down here. Okay, that describes something. And now we've got three choices. We've got hunt, spider or old. Well, hunt, we already said was an action when we ran into that before, so that won't work. A spider is a thing or an animal, right? So that won't work. And then old, ooh, the old spooky mansion. That works. That describes something. So we're going to go to old. And then we've got two choices. We can either go to the monster, ooh, or we can go to the scary house. Which one describes something? Scary. Scary is the descriptive word. So we're going to bring that on over to scary. And we have reached our spooky house. Nice job. That one was lots of fun. See you later. Bye.
Hello, boys and girls. It's Teacher Mike here. Today we're going to be looking at a worksheet called Antonym Mix-Up. Antonyms are words with the opposite meaning, like open and close. Opposite means the furthest thing from that word, meaning the most different thing. Let's read the directions and get started right away. Correct the sentences below by replacing each highlighted word with its antonym. Okay, let's read the first sentence. The octopus lives above the sea. Does an octopus really live above the sea? What's the opposite of above in this sentence? Let's look at our answer choices and decide. What's the most different than above, or the opposite than above? First answer choice is near. Near is not the opposite of above. Near means close to the top, and that's not the opposite of above. Under. Under the sea. I think this might be the right answer, because the octopus doesn't live above the sea. The octopus lives under the sea. But let's try our last answer choice, just to be sure. The octopus lives on the sea. On is kind of like above. There are similar meanings in this sentence, and that's not the opposite. In this sentence, the opposite, or the antonym, is under. Let's read the sentence now. The octopus lives under the sea. That sounds right. Let's look at the second example. Penguins live in a hot climate. Do penguins really live in a hot climate? I can't picture a penguin on the beach like in this picture. Let's look at our three answer choices and see what is the opposite or the antonym of hot. First answer choice is warm. Warm is pretty similar to hot. Those two words are not antonyms or opposites. Tropical also means like nice weather. Again, that's close to hot. That doesn't mean the opposite. And our last answer choice is cold. When I think of the total opposite of hot, I think of being cold. Cold is the antonym or the opposite of hot. Let's reread this sentence with the correct word. Penguins live in a cold environment. Let's look at our third example. Third sentence reads, the cheetah is very slow, and the highlighted word is slow. What's the opposite or the antonym of slow? Our first answer choice is fast. I think we got that one right away. But let's read all the other answer choices just to be sure. Long. Being long or tall or short or fat or skinny has nothing to do with being slow or fast. And our last answer choice is dangerous. Yes, cheetahs are dangerous, but is that really the opposite of slow? No. The opposite of slow is fast, the first answer choice. Let's reread that sentence with the correct word. The cheetah is very fast. Our last sentence is about rabbits. It reads, rabbits always eat meat. Do rabbits always eat meat? What do rabbits eat? Doesn't matter. What's the opposite of always? Let's read our three answer choices. Our first answer choice is often. Often isn't as much as always, but it still means you do something a lot. Often is not the opposite or the antonym. Usually. Usually means you do it not as much as often. You don't do it always, but you do it sometimes. And our last answer choice is never. And never is the complete opposite or the most different thing than always. Never is the antonym for always. Let's reread this sentence with the correct answer choice. Rabbits never eat meat. Remember, boys and girls, an antonym is the opposite or the most different thing from the word that you are reading. Thanks for watching, boys and girls. We'll see you next time.
Hello, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about our possessive nouns. Let's talk about what, first of all, is a possessive noun. A possessive noun is a noun that shows ownership or that something belongs to them or whatever the noun is, the object or the person. And there's a couple of ways that we can show this. So let me give you some examples to make this a little bit easier to understand. The first kind of noun that you're going to run into is a singular noun, and I'm going to write this out to the side, singular. And singular means just one, okay? So I'm going to write here just one, all right? And an example of a singular noun would be like a dog, okay? It is just one thing. So if I want to show that something belongs to this dog, let's say we're talking about the dog's toy, I would add an apostrophe S to show this. I would show that this belongs to them because it is singular or it is just one. Let me give another example. Let's say the name David. David is just one person. So if David is just one, I would want to show that he owns something. So let's say we're talking about David's backpack. I would show that it's his backpack or that it's a possessive noun by adding an apostrophe S. And I know to add an apostrophe S because David is just one. Okay, the other kind of noun is a plural noun. Plural. And plural means that it is more than one, so it's two or more, okay? So an example of a plural noun would be, let's say kittens, okay? Let's say that there's a litter of kittens. There's several little baby kittens, and I'm talking about the kitten's bed. They all sleep in the same bed together. So the way that I would show that this is possessive, that the bed belongs to the kittens, in this case, because there's an S at the end, and I know that there's more than one, I'm just going to add an apostrophe to the end. Let's do another example. Let's do the Friends, okay? So let's say the Friends had a clubhouse. Because I see that there is an S on the end of this and it's more than one, that means that it's plural. So again, I'm just going to add an apostrophe at the end. I'm not going to add apostrophe S, I'm just going to add an apostrophe. Now I'm going to talk about one more kind of plural noun, but this one's a little bit different. Here is an example of the word children, okay? If we're talking about children, we're talking about more than one, but this particular kind of plural noun does not have an S on the end. So if I was talking about books that belong to children, I would still use apostrophe S, or children's books. And this one is kind of tricky because it's still plural, it's more than one, but let's add to this more than one and ends in S. Okay, this is how we know what to do on this one. Okay, if it's plural, more than one, and ends in S. And on this one, it is singular. And the example of children's is children is plural, but it doesn't end in S, so it doesn't follow this rule right here. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with our worksheet over to the side. It says bubble grammar possessive nouns. A possessive noun shows that a person or thing owns or has something. So you remember that ownership, that they own something. You should add an apostrophe and an S to a singular noun. And that's like this up here that I said, an apostrophe S to a singular noun. It's only one. And the example that they give us is the ladybug's spots. So the spots belong to the ladybug. The original word was ladybug, and we added an apostrophe S. The other example is you should add an apostrophe to a plural noun ending in S. You remember that's the tricky part, ending in S. So plural means more than one and ends in S. So for example, the birds' nests, they added an apostrophe to show that it was plural, that it was is more than one, but also to show that the birds had many nests. The several birds had many nests. So let's come down to the directions here and let's look at this first side. Let's do the left side first. It says, trace the dotted line under all the words that need an apostrophe and an S to become a possessive noun. So let's go to our first word. Our first word is Ava. Is Ava one or more than one? Ava is one girl. So that lets us know that it's a singular noun and it needs an apostrophe S. And the direction said that need an apostrophe and an S to become a possessive noun. So we are going to underline Ava because Ava is just one. The next one is tigers ending in S. So that means that there's more than one tiger. So we are not going to do this one. This is not singular. Let's go on to the next one. Baby. How many are we talking about in this one? Baby. Baby is just one, right? So we're going to underline this because it's going to need an apostrophe S. Babies. What about dragons? Dragons is more than one. That's plural and it ends in S. So we're not going to do that one. What about dog? Is dog singular or just one? Yeah, and that was actually one that I used in my example, right? So we know that we're going to need an apostrophe S. What about nurses ending in S? More than one nurse. How are we going to show that they need or that they own something? We would need to add an apostrophe, not an apostrophe S, because it's more than one. We're looking for the one or the singular. Let's go on to the next one, tiger. If we wanted to talk about something belonging to the tiger, we're going to add an apostrophe S on this one. Baker, again, it's just one, so we're going to need apostrophe S. Friends are more than one, so we're not going to do it on this one. Children, there's that exception to the rule, right? Children is more than one, but does children end in an S? No. So this is the exception. This is the tricky one. We're going to underline this one. It's going to need an apostrophe S. What about sheep? Sheep. Sheep. The sheep's clothes. We would add an apostrophe S because the sheep is one. What about men? Men is more than one, but does it end in an S? No, so we would say the men's and we would add an apostrophe S. What about this one? Girls. Girls is more than one and ends in S, so we're not going to do that one. Last one is kitten. Kitten is just one, so that's going to need an apostrophe S. Great job. Let's go on to the other side. This says, trace the dotted line under all the words that need an apostrophe only to become a possessive noun. So what we're looking for on this one are ones that are plural that end in S, okay? So let's look at the first one. The singers, that one ends in S and it's talking about more than one. So we're going to underline this one because it would just need an apostrophe. The dancer is just one, so we're not going to do that one. Matt is referring to one person, so we're not going to do that one. Toddlers is the next one. Toddlers ends in S and it is more than one, so we are going to underline that one. The next one is elephants. Elephants is plural, it's talking about more than one, and it also ends in S, so we're going to underline this one here. The next one is puppies. Puppies ends in S, so it's going to need just an apostrophe, okay? What about horses? Horses also ends in S and it's more than one, so we're going to underline that one. The next one is lion. How many are we talking about? Just one, so we're not going to do anything to this one. Let's go on to the next one. The next one is women. Women is plural, which means there's more than one, but this one does not have an S at the end. So this one is kind of an exception, like children. Whenever we have the word children, we would put an apostrophe S. So on this one, we're not going to put an apostrophe. What about boys? Boys, it's more than one and it is plural and it ends in S, right? So we're going to underline this one. What about geese? Geese. This one does not end in S, okay? But we would not say geeses. That wouldn't be correct. So the way that we would do it is just an apostrophe because it's more than one, okay? And then doctors. Doctors is more than one, so we're going to do this one, okay? and then ghost. Ghost is just one. So we have finished our worksheet. Oh my goodness, that was really difficult. You guys did a great job hanging in there today. I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Hello, boys and girls. It's Teacher Mike here. Today we're going to be looking at a worksheet called Pirate Punctuation, question and quotation marks. In this worksheet, we're going to have to decide whether question marks go inside the quotation marks or outside of the quotation marks. There's two really important rules to remember when making this decision. First, the question mark will go inside the quotation marks if the words inside the quotation marks are a question themselves. For example, the pirate asked, "What did you see?" What did you see is a question. Therefore, the question mark will go inside the quotation marks. The second really important rule to remember is that the question mark will go outside of the quotation marks if the whole sentence is a question, but the words inside the quotation marks are not a question. For example, did you say this is a pirate ship? This is a pirate ship. The words inside the quotation marks are not a question, but did you say is the start of a question. Therefore, the question mark will go outside of the quotation marks. Let's read the directions and get started right away. In each pair of sentences, check the one in which the question mark is used correctly. Let's read each sentence aloud, but pay extra close attention to where the question mark is in each sentence. "Where is my hat?" asked the pirate. In this answer choice, the question mark is inside the quotation marks. "Where is my hat?" is a question. "Asked the pirate" is not a question. I think the question mark is in the right place. It belongs inside the quotation marks because the words inside the quotation marks, "Where is my hat?" is a question. Let's look at the second answer choice and see if that has the question mark in the right place. "Where is my hat?" asked the pirate. The question mark is outside of the quotation marks. That's not right. "Where is my hat?" is a question, and therefore the question mark belongs inside the quotation marks. The first answer choice is correct. Let's look at the second question. "Who said, 'I have a pirate telescope'?" The question mark is outside of the quotation marks. Let's look a little bit closer. Let's look a little bit closer at this sentence and see if the question mark is in the right place. "I have a pirate telescope." Is that a question? No, that's a statement. I have a pirate telescope, and the question mark is outside of the quotation marks. "Who said" is the start of a question, making this whole sentence a question. This means the question mark is in the correct place outside of the quotation marks. Let's take a look at the second answer choice and just make sure. "Who said, 'I have a pirate telescope'?" In this answer choice, the question mark is incorrectly inside the quotation marks. This entire sentence is a question, meaning the question mark needs to go outside of the quotation marks, just like in our first answer choice. Let's look at the third question and the third pair of sentences. "Do you have a treasure map?" said the captain. In this question, the question mark is inside the quotations. "Do you have a treasure map?" is a question, and those are the words inside the quotation marks. This means the question mark is in the correct place inside the quotation marks. Let's look at the second answer choice just to make sure our first one is correct. "Do you have a treasure map?" said the captain. This time the question mark is incorrectly outside the quotation marks. Remember, if the words inside the quotation marks are a question, the question mark needs to go next to those words inside the quotation marks. So this answer choice, our first answer choice, is correct. Remember, boys and girls, when the words inside the quotation marks are a question, the question mark goes inside the quotation mark. If the words inside are a sentence, the question mark will go outside of the quotation marks. Thanks for watching, boys and girls. We'll see you next time.